Hi everyone, I'm Jim Dillon, your instructor for Phil 102, Introduction to Ethics. I wanted to make a little intro video here, um, partly so I can just see if I'm able to record this successfully and get it up online, partly also so that I can get everybody sort of up to speed on how the course is going to run. So first of all, I hope everybody's doing okay with the whole quarantine thing. I hope everybody's obeying the quarantine as much as possible. I know it's boring and a little bit scary, but uh, if we all just kind of stick with it and um, do our best to make the best of it, I think it's going to be just fine. So most of you have, or at least some of you, I'm not sure about most of you, but some of you at least have already gotten started on the modules. I believe I said in the intro email that I sent out that Module 1 is what we're doing this week. And it looks like a fair few of you have already hopped onto the discussion part of the module, which is great. Even if you haven't read the first 2 chapters yet, I'd encourage you to go ahead and hop on to the discussion and go ahead and make your post and maybe even go ahead and reply to another student's post. For those of you who haven't done these modules before, I'm going to kind of walk through it here in a second. But the modules present you with 3 types of assignments, things that are worth points. And one of them is the discussion section for the module. And basically what that is a kind of like a chat forum. If you've ever been on a message board online, then it's going to be pretty straightforward for you. At the top of the discussion is a question or a prompt. This week, the prompt is, welcome to Phil 102, Introduction to Ethics. Please introduce yourself to the class and tell us what ethics means to you. So it's inviting you to make a little introductory post and then talk a little bit about what the word ethics means for you, or what you think of when you think about ethics. So go ahead and do that as soon as you can. And if you want to go ahead and, I should say, to complete the discussion section of each module, you need to post an original post of your own in response to the prompt. Okay, so that's one post. And then you need to post again with a reply to somebody else's post. So whatever your reaction or response, if you have a question for the other student, or if you maybe even want to present a contrasting point of view if you disagree, those are the kinds of things you can do with your responses. Okay, so, I guess we're already into talking about the modules, so I'll wrap up this short video by just kind of telling you about the modules. These modules are going to be how you do your coursework for this class. This is an online version of the class. I've never taught an online class before, so it's new to me, maybe new to some of you as well. Because the class is going to be taking place predominantly, entirely online, you're going to be kind of in charge of how you approach the content of this course. Meaning, at the start of the week, I'll open up 1 or 2 modules, whichever many we're doing that week, and it's your responsibility to read the material, first of all, and then respond to the assignments that the module presents you. So it's going to go through that process and how it works. I'm sorry I can't simultaneously record my computer screen. I wasn't able to figure out how to do that. If I'm able to figure out how to do that in future videos, I might be able to do some screen sharing on here. Okay, so we hop on to the main course website through Ivy Learn. You'll see a splash page there featuring all the modules that are available. We're not going to be working through all these modules. We don't have, suffice to say, we're not going to be doing all of them. I've been advised by the Ivy Tech bigwigs, my supervisor and the people she works under, that we should be kind of simplifying the content of the course to make it a little bit easier on you, since you guys weren't expecting to do an online course. What that means for us is that we are not going to be completing 16 modules. I think we're going to complete 12 of the 16. But you can see the list of them there. Really though, what you're going to want to do is go over there on the left hand side and click on modules. Okay, now you'll see the first module that you have available to you is called Ivy Learn Course Orientation. So if you want to go through a kind of a training course, how to use these modules, that'd be a good resource for you. And then you scroll down, you get to Module 1, Ethics and Ethical Reasoning, Chapter 1, Religion and Global Ethics, Chapter 2. So each module covers either 1 or 2 chapters from the textbook. So the first key thing for you to do is going to be to get the textbook. If you don't have the textbook yet, you need to be getting on that pretty soon. You're not going to really be able to continue in the course if you don't have the textbook. Because like I said, for an online course like this, you guys are kind of going to be teaching yourselves initially by reading the book. So you're going to need the book. So if you go over, just kind of a side note, you go over to the syllabus, the course syllabus. If you don't have the book and you scroll down, there's a link that says see recommendations for book ordering. And clicking on that looks like it opens up a Google Doc with some instructions and on how to order books. There's also, now let me check this out while I'm recording this. There's a link to a textbook free trial. I believe you can get it. Yes. Yeah, you can get a 2-week free trial. So if you don't want to buy the book right now, or you're having trouble finding the book, you can go ahead and use your 2-week free trial to get access to the textbook until you're able to get your own copy. And again, that textbook free trial link is just on the main Ivy Learn page over on that left-hand side where you've got the various links for the different parts of the class. It says textbook free trial. Okay, so you got your book. You're set to go for Module 1. So there are several different parts. You've got an overview, which kind of gives you a nice little summary, a little intro to the material that's going to be in these chapters. Learning activities, that provides you a variety of different alternative resources for the material. So it looks like this week you can open up the official sort of PowerPoint presentations of each chapter, which is handy. It's like having access to your own notes on the chapter. So if you wanted to download those and print them off, that'd be handy to have with you while you're reading the chapter, or you could just open them up on your computer, kind of have it side by side with your textbook. If you're reading an ebook, you could do it that way. Some additional web resources, including it looks like some video lectures on YouTube. So that's a nice resource for you as well. So that's learning activities. It kind of breaks down what you're going to be expected to do for the module and gives you some additional resources. Okay, then you're going to actually read the material. So you've got notes, you've got PowerPoint notes, you've got additional materials to sort of help you along. Then you're going to want to sit down and actually read through the chapter or the chapters, depending on the module. Familiarize yourself with the material. I would say it's a good idea to just read it straight through one time. Don't worry about taking notes. And then you can go back through the material again and make notes if you want, or just review the material to get familiar with it. How do you know if you're familiar with the material yet, since you're kind of learning this on your own? Well, what I would do is read through the material and then just go through the review questions that are at the end of the chapter. You don't have to write out your responses. That's not there aren't going to be graded assignments out of the review questions from the book. But you can still sort of go through and sort of ask yourself those questions. And I would encourage you to answer the questions out loud if you can. You don't really have mastery of philosophy material until you're able to talk about and write about the material. So you might read through it and think, oh, okay, that's pretty easy. I understand what they're saying in this chapter. I'm going to move on. And then it comes time to do the quiz, or it comes time to do your midterm exam, and you find, well, I feel like I have an understanding of this material, but it's difficult for me to answer questions about the material, or I'm having trouble articulating myself. So those review questions are a good opportunity for you on your own to sort of test your understanding of the material. Okay, so you've read through the book chapters, you've maybe looked at the review questions, you've maybe made some notes on the chapters, maybe you've looked at the PowerPoint notes about the chapter, and you're ready to engage in the module assignments. Now there are typically going to be 3 assignments for each module. There's the discussion assignment, which we've already talked about. So this week the discussion assignment just asks you to introduce yourself and tell us what you think about ethics, and then respond to somebody else's answer to that prompt. And then you have the journal. And what the journal is going to ask you to do, and I believe this is the same every week, your journal entry should present your views on the value and usefulness of one or more of the ethical theories discussed in the reading assignment. Well, what does that mean? You're going to read in all of these chapters, you're going to be introduced to various perspectives in ethics. A lot of times those are going to come with sort of isms. So consequentialism is a term that you'll be introduced to in this first chapter. You're also going to be introduced to theories. So in chapter 2, you're going to be introduced to the divine command theory in ethics. So what you need to do is pick out one of those viewpoints or theories that the chapter or chapters discusses. So after you've read through the book, and you're going to respond to that view. And you're going to tell me if you think it's a good view, so it's a valuable, useful, applicable view. And you're just going to give me your reasons on it. And then you're also asked to share your personal ethical reflections in relation to the reading assignment. What are personal ethical reflections? Well, a reflection like in a mirror, right? You're looking at yourself. What the journal is asking you to do is sort of look inward. So as you're reading the text, what's your personal response to this material? Does this material make you think about your own ethical life? So you can include those personal ethical reflections in your journal entry. Approximately 200 words, so not very long. I'm going to, once everyone's submitted this, I'll have a chance to sort of respond to how you guys have responded to the journal entries. I'm sure there will be a little bit of a learning curve here, but what I'm looking for is for you to address specifically material from the book. I'm interested in your perspective and your opinion, but I would like you to address specific course content, specific content from the text in your journal entries, and for that to be what the journal entries are about. Okay, so just do your best on this first one. If you make a good faith effort to complete the journal assignment on this first one, I'm not going to take any points away, so you'll get full credit. And then finally, the course will give you a quiz. Let's look at the quiz for this module. This is already going a little long. I'm going to try to keep these at about 10 or 15 minutes, these video lectures. Okay, so you got a 60-minute time limit on these quizzes. And the quizzes are open book. Now, that doesn't mean that you can get away with not reading any of the material and just jumping on the quiz and looking through the book trying to find the correct answer. that's not going to be an effective way to get a good grade on these quizzes. You should have already read the material, and so you can therefore be approaching the quiz with an understanding of what the chapter is about. And then as you're going through the questions, you'll sort of know, based on your reading of the material, you'll know where in the chapter to go to find the answers to the questions on the quiz. And then if you've read the material, you'll already know the answers to some of the questions. So to complete that, the quiz is worth the most points. It's worth 25 points. The discussion and the journal are each worth 10 points. Okay. So complete Module 1 by the end of this week. So that means by Sunday. Complete Module 1, the discussion, the journal, and the quiz. For that, you'll need to read chapters 1 and 2. Okay? And I'm going to continue throughout this week to upload short videos like this to talk with you about the content of the chapters. So that way, as you're sort of moving through the material, you'll be able to get some feedback or some help understanding the material. And it'll also give me a chance to sort of respond to the class discussions and respond to you guys' journal entries, sort of help you along getting going with those. Okay, I don't want to make this video any longer than that. Hopefully most of you have already read through the syllabus. If not, I encourage you to read through it. It's a standard syllabus. But you'll find in the syllabus a complete breakdown of grading, how much of your grade is coming from each of the parts of the class. Apart from the module stuff, the only other grades in the class are going to be 2 exams, a midterm and a final. Those are going to be on Ivy Learn as well. And you can see on the calendar in Ivy Learn, that's now completely updated with all the due dates for all the module material, as well as the dates for the midterm and then the final exam. Okay, I hope everybody's doing good. If you have any questions at any point, if you're having trouble with this stuff, I understand this is kind of an unexpected format for the class, so if you're having issues, I understand. Just let me know as soon as you can. And I will upload at least one more video today talking about the material, some of the material from chapter 1. And then, yeah, like I said, throughout the rest of the week, I'll be uploading more material. And we'll see how that goes. Alrighty. Talk to you guys again soon. Happy to be teaching those of you ASAP students who I've taught before. Happy to be teaching you again. I'm also happy to be introduced to those of you who I haven't taught before. So, alrighty. Talk to you guys later.